Ara Durranian will light the chalice this afternoon. Please light your chalice at home now. The flame of our chalice on this day is a symbol of the warmth and brightness of our connections. The flame lights our way back together again from our separate lives, and it lights a connection to those not with us today, but remain close to our hearts in spirit and love. Good afternoon and welcome to our celebration of the life of Joyce Veron. The Unitarian Universalist community of Cambria is honored to host this service for Joyce, who is a cherished member of our community. She had expressed a wish to have all of us keep in mind throughout these proceedings that we are all a family. Let us hold that sentiment in our hearts as we proceed this afternoon. Sometimes I think my soul will float in an ocean of love. Will I recognize old friends? We recognize family who have gone on ahead.
Need everyone to mute themselves. Stephen, can you mute yourself, please?
Sometimes I think my soul will float in an ocean of love. Will I recognize old friends, family who have gone on ahead? I don't know. I think I will know they are there. I will know this. There is not now, nor ever was there ever, any separation between us. I will know that they were with me the whole time, as strongly as when I was alive, as when I am part of the leaves. The green of a new leaf, lit from behind with the spring sun, stays inside me, a glowing place of peace. The certainty that I will always be a part of life. During a memorial service, I see that green. I feel that peace. It's hard to preach a color, but I'm going to think of a way. Joyce Veron, we love you. We miss you. Always you will be with us in our hearts. May you rest in peace. I Am There, a poem by James Dillett Freeman, as requested by Joyce Veron. Do you need me? I am there. You cannot see me, yet I am the light you see by. You cannot hear me, yet I speak through your voice. You cannot feel me, yet I am the power at work in your hands. I am at work, though you do not understand my ways. I am at work, though you do not recognize my works. I am not strange visions. I am not mysteries. Only in absolute stillness, beyond self, can you know me as I am. And then, but as a feeling and a faith, yet I am there, yet I hear, yet I answer. When you need me, I am there. Even if you deny me, I am there. Even when you feel most alone, I am there. Even in your fears, I am there. Even in your pain, I am there. I am there when you pray and when you do not pray. I am in you and you are in me. Only in your mind can you feel separate from me. For only in your mind are the mists of yours and mine. Yet only with your mind can you know me and experience me. Empty your heart of empty fears. When you get yourself out of the way, I am there. You can of yourself do nothing, but I can do all. I am in all. Though you may not see the good is there, for I am there. I am there because I have to be, because I am. Only in me does the world have meaning. Only out of me does the world take form. Only because of me does the world go forward. I am the law on which the movement of the stars and the growth of living cells are founded. I am the love that is the law's fulfilling. I am assurance. I am peace. I am oneness. I am the law that you can live by. I am the love that you can cling to. I am your assurance. I am your peace. I am the one with you. I am. Though you fail to find me, I do not fail you. Though your faith in me is unsure, my faith in you never wavers. Because I know you, because I love you, beloved, I am there. Aro Duranian is Joyce's favorite nephew. Although I know that she cared for all her family and enjoyed their visits. I personally was sent down to Moonstone once to cover and make sure that the hotels were ready for some visitors that she was having. Ara has been living in Colorado for the past 25 years, managing rental properties. He has been here in Cambria since September, spending time with Joyce, and now taking care of her final wishes. Welcome, Ara.
Well, hello, good afternoon, and my name is, take this off here. My name is Ara Darunian, and I'm nephew of Joyce Veron. My mother, Ilona, really wanted to be here in person to speak with you all today, but circumstances beyond her control did not allow, but she strongly desired to be here. I would like to thank all attendees for attending wherever you might be in the world. Thank you to the UU community in Cambria, and a very special thanks to Sherry Parisian, hey Sherry, who made it a lot easier and comfortable for me to navigate everything since I've been here since September, and was also Joyce's medical confidant. Extremely helpful. Thank you. Joyce Heda Veron, age 73, of Cambria, California, died peacefully November 26th of immune deficiency syndrome and acute cardiorespiratory failure with family by her side. Joyce Heda Veron was the daughter of Helen and Edward Frank Heda of Easton, Connecticut, both deceased now. She is survived by her older sister, Ilona, and brother-in-law, Mark Weiss of Lafayette, Colorado, two nephews, Vahe Ara Darunian, and 3 grandnephews, 1 grandniece, all of Boulder, Colorado. Joyce was my favorite aunt. And of course, she was my only aunt. But we had a deep connection. And ever since I was 3 years old, when she lived in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, on a golf course, it was one of my earliest memories, which I think is significant. One of my first memories was with my aunt. And I was catching lizards on her sun porch with my brother in her greenhouse by the tail and having the tails fall off. And I remember her platinum hair and her most distinctive laugh. I just knew she was always smiling when she was looking at us. And Joyce was very well educated and well spoken. With a BA in social work from the University of Connecticut, she completed a 2-year program from Yale New Haven University in the Department of Psychiatry, School of Medicine with a counseling certificate. She also attended UCLA School of Business Graduate School. She worked as a senior medical social worker, child protective service worker, victim witness management specialist, and she worked with art therapy. She also was a senior adult probation officer and an operations manager for a giant company in LA as well at a young age. She donated many hours of her time to the Humane Society in a special role, calling her the big hitter to get pets adopted. And when she was a probation officer in one of the toughest places that I could think of in New Haven, Connecticut, she prided herself not only to work and help the people to rehabilitate them and get them back into society, she took a real special interest to make sure they had a real chance. And she was extremely successful in a place where there wasn't a lot of success. She's a medical social worker in the 90s, which is some of my more vivid memories, her taking on many AIDS patients and working with many diverse individuals and couples as an AIDS specialist during a time when AIDS was a death sentence. She always held a serious job helping people with less of a chance and for them to get on their feet her whole entire life. She truly believed we are all equals and that we're all in this together, and we are one big family. As a child growing up, Aunt Joyce would fly my brother Vahe and I to Los Angeles or California and take us out to amusement parks and Hollywood and Vine, and tour the Star homes, I remember specifically, and a couple weeks every year. And I always really look forward to visits with her. She also consistently sent me birthday cards with cash inside well into my 40s. And she always knew how to have a good time. I told her several times I always thought she should work for the Chamber of Commerce as a tour guide, because she always had a great restaurant or something to do, place to stay, and would always just make it a special experience for us. She was kind, she was tough, she had a very big personality. She took strangers by total surprise with kind words or a great recommendation for people she knew were visiting or traveling. Joyce loved animals and nature and was close to it. Whenever she walked in town, she would say hi to almost every dog that she would come across and pet them. And although she did not have a dog or pet herself, she worked closely with the Humane Society in California, in Connecticut. She told them to call her when they could not find someone to adopt a cat or a dog, and it would be euthanized. They would call her, she would pick up the pet, and she would doll them up and bathe them and put pink and blue bows on them. And then she would bring them into the school system in which she was affiliated with, into her different classrooms. And by the end of the day, the dog or cat was adopted. She was 100% successful in getting these pets adopted. That's how much she cared. She loved nature and always tried to live close to it. Having grown up a country girl in Easton, she showed me the most beautiful ocean piers, trees filled with butterflies so dense, the monarchs that looked like leaves hanging from the branches. She had about 5 or 6 feeders around her cottage for the birds for the past 20 years. She would call and I would call and talk with her from Colorado, check in. She would tell me about the seals and the deers and the turkey and the new birds she had seen. She was deeply spiritual and connected with the earth. She had a special way of communicating where all I had to do was think of her and she would call the next day or sooner. And she was friends with Deepak Chopra, and she worked for Richard Simmons in the early 80s when he was doing Sweatin' to the Oldies. And for most of my life, she spoke with her sister Alona almost daily. I spoke with one of her longtime friends the other night, and he had reiterated to me that Joyce had the amazing ability to see things that were great in himself that he had not even realized yet. She was able to motivate, inspire, and encourage people around her with a hint of good humor. She loved to bring food and snacks to share with friends always. Joyce was on your side as if you were a close family member. She believed we were all family. She repeatedly said God had always given her what she needed and to ask God if she needed an answer. Joyce helped teach me kindness, empathy, respect for others, generosity, and taught me it was okay to talk to the person next to you in the grocery line. She will be deeply missed. Here are some words written by Joyce. I believe everyone has gifts and passions. We can all work together to make this world a beautiful place. Love, communication is the most important to keep the balance, and God bless you all. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Ara. We are sorry for your loss, but we really enjoyed your glimpses into Joyce's life. Thank you for sharing. The beloved Tony Bennett was one of Joyce's favorite singing artists, and she was in great company. A lot of us like these oldies. We have selected a stirring rendition of Fly Me to the Moon, sung by the unplugged Tony Bennett. Enjoy. She ate those old timers. Joyce Veron joined us. She joined the UU, the Unitarian Universalist Community of Cambria, in 2014, and was a member of our church for 7 years. Joyce was someone you noticed because she had a flair for fashionable hats and colorful clothing that matched with her earrings and necklaces. Many UUs socialized with her at our Sunday brunches after service. We could always count on Joyce's perspective at those Sunday brunches. Joyce was particularly generous with her food offerings during the social hour after church, bringing a variety of healthy food combinations for us all to partake in. When Joyce had extra leftovers of the delicacies she brought, and she almost always did, she sent many people home with those special healthy snacks. She introduced us to some of the unique foods, which were extremely tasty. She always made sure those UUCC members who were on the cleanup crew after the services took some of those Munchables home. Joyce was also known to send loving cards to many in our congregation, letting them know of the gratitude she had for them, or wishing them swift healing if they were ill or having personal difficulties. In addition, Joyce had a wonderful memory for UUCC family members and often asked how they were doing by name. Before Joyce came to the UUCC, she belonged to the Unity Church here in Cambria. Nancy Butts, a member of the Unity Church, remembers Joyce. She said, I quote, "She expressed the generous side of her personality, always giving people gifts. She was very thoughtful in remembering birthdays and sending holiday greetings. Joyce had an openness in her heart and a tenderness for people who were suffering emotionally and physically." The hymn we're about to sing was commissioned by the UUCC for a local artist, Jill Knight, to compose a song that encapsulates the UU7 principles. We are all a part.
Of this beautiful web of existence, with a goal of peace, justice, and liberty. We affirm the worth, the dignity of every person, with compassion and equality. We encourage and accept one another in our spiritual growth here on earth, with freedom in our search for truth and meaning. We are all a part. We are all a part of this beautiful web of existence. We are all a part of this beautiful web of existence, with a goal of peace, justice, and liberty. We affirm the worth and dignity of every person, with compassion and equality. We encourage and accept one another in our spiritual growth here on earth, with freedom in our search for truth and meaning. We are all a part. We are all a part of this beautiful web of existence.
Nicely done.
Like many of us, was a strong and independent woman who enjoyed being in control of her life. She was sometimes frustrated when she needed to ask for help. It pleases me that I was able to help her sometimes, as other people were in our UU community. It also pleases me that she had the care that she needed in her final months, and that she has you, Ara, to bring her life full circle here today. Anita and I visited Joyce at the end of October at the care facility in Los Osos. She was in a bright, pleasant room in bed under hospice care, had other people around her coming in and out to say hello to her. She opened her eyes and she tried to acknowledge that we were there. And I told her that all her UU friends love her, and I thanked her for what she had done for us. At the end of this short visit, I held her hand and I said, "Let the good people here take care of you. Just relax and let it go where it takes you." I'd like to invite others to speak. Anyone in the sanctuary would like to come up again? No? And how about in Zoom land out there, Andy or Diane?
If anyone would like to share their memories, please raise your hand. Yes, Sherry, please unmute yourself and share with us.
Wow, what a presentation, you guys. Very beautiful, all of this. Thank you, Ara, for a beautiful obit. And all these pictures are so wonderful. I never saw any of these. I was honored to meet Joyce in the women's group that I joined from the UU Church. She was having lots of difficulty in those years, maybe 10 years now. And I would help her come to the meetings and we got acquainted. And she started to fail, and I'm a hospice nurse, so I ended up helping her quite a bit and helping her in and out of hospitals. She had a lot of difficulty, and walking was her main problem, and back and knees. As we all age, we're all going to have that. But I was always impressed with Joyce and how she had an understanding of how people are and what the world is made up about. She would tell me stories of homeless people she would help, and I've done that too with my hospice work and helping set up people in small rooms so that they could pass into the next world. And she made a lot of people a lot happier in this life. She gave of herself, her soul. Quite an admirable life that she's led. The last year, of course, was in and out of hospitals and her trying to get her strength back. And of course, it didn't happen. But now she's resting in God's arms, and she's always when we talked, she was always talking about how her spiritual life was number one in her life, and her nephew Ara, but also that this world is her, and her spiritual leader God was a part of every day that I spoke to her. So she was very spiritually based, and like has been said by everyone, she really reached out to those in need, and she would reach out to total strangers. She just had an openness about her that was a real gift. And it was an honor for me to help her in her final years, and she was heroic in how she handled all that. So I'm very, very grateful for having met you, Joyce. Wonderful human being. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you. If anyone else would like to share, please raise your virtual hand. I'm sorry, Janet, please unmute yourself.
Okay, thank you, Andy. Yeah, before I begin, I just want to thank everybody involved in putting this service together. It's very beautifully done, so thank you. I just wanted to reiterate what Sue spoke about, just our experiences with Joyce. Admittedly, Joyce could be eccentric and was on occasion. However, what I'm going to hold on to is her generosity and desire to help others. She often brought, as Sue said, a smorgasbord of appetizers to services, and that we'd share during coffee hour. And each offering had been carefully constructed using healthy ingredients, and she was more than happy to share recipes with anyone. I particularly remember her sharing health benefits. She told me once that if you eat local honey, it will alleviate allergy symptoms. So, because I was struggling with allergies at the time. In addition to the food, she often shared gifts, potted plants, glass vases. I mean, she was so generous. And then finally, the biggest thing was her previous life working with social services. As she reiterated, shared her history with many of us. She was very proud of it. And, you know, her long work helping people make their lives better was so impressive. So that's what I will remember always about Joyce. So thank you.
Thank you, Janet. I also want to thank Janet and Annie because several times you took Joyce food, and thank you for that.
Sue, it looks like Judith has a hand raised.
Hi, I'm Judy Wise, her cousin. I'm going to miss Joyce terribly. Many times I visited California, and she was like our docent. She took us everywhere. She was so kind and thoughtful. And my daughter April is right next to me, and she'd like to say something.
Yeah, I mean,
Such a
I'm gonna
loss.
miss her terribly. I wasn't able to get out there for quite a while, due to many circumstances. And I mean, me and my mom would always go visit her every other year. We'd make our trips, and we would just have a blast. I mean, our last trip, I remember vividly. We all went to just took the day up one day to Big Sur, and there was clouds coming in off the ocean, and she was like, don't worry about it, you know. She always just kind of liked to live spontaneous, you know. And I'm thinking, oh boy, my mom was like, oh, we're gonna get stuck up there, and Joyce was like, ah. So we had dinner, and then sure enough, those clouds came in. We were stuck up there. She made sure, like we ended up getting a hotel next door
Thank God.
because she had to like practically yell and bribe the man to give us a room. There was one room left.
One last room.
I think they were trying to give it to someone else, but anyway, so we ended up staying, and it was the best night. We laughed and
all night
long. We had no TV; it's just conversation, and it was a blast, and you know. So that was like a special memory. And then just always, like what Ara had said earlier, like she could just sense if something was wrong or whatever, and she would call, and we'd always have such a connection, you know, spiritually and everything. And she so generous. She would talk to everybody and anybody on the street, whatever, always giving gifts. I was there at the church, your church, one time with her, and she had got up very early to make chocolate drip strawberries and something else, I forget.
Special
But
dessert.
she didn't feel too well, but she did it. And she would, every time we'd come to visit in California, she would have wine and flowers and gifts. She would make sure at the hotel that everything was all set. And
She'd wait for us.
yeah,
Make sure.
and I'm gonna miss that terribly, you know. So
Yes, she was wonderful.
she was more like a sister.
I
almost.
know.
You know, we were very close, and she loved everyone, and she was really unique, special woman, and I just wanted to say that.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. It was beautiful.
Yes, it looks like Art would like to share. Please unmute, Art.
All right, thank you, Andy. You know, Joyce was just so welcoming to me when I came to the church. And I just remember how gracious she was with all these wonderful candies and things. And every time I'd bump into her in the village, she would try and sneak me a little tidbit. And it was just so great. She was just such a great lady. And I remembered that she sent me a Valentine's Day card. And for the next 2 weeks, I called her about every third day, but she never cleared off her answering machine. So she never knew I could reach her. But psychically, I was there. She was a great lady, and she'll be missed. Thank you all very much. That's
Thank
all
you,
I have
Art.
to say. You're welcome.
Yeah. Mhm. Anyone else out there in Zoom land that wants to say something? Thank you all for joining from Zoom land. We enjoy seeing your video here in the church, in the sanctuary. Thank you. The flame of this chalice will no longer burn today, but the light of the flame within our hearts continues to shine brightly, illuminating the love felt in our community. Please extinguish your chalices at home now. I invite you now to hold hands with the person you are here with in the sanctuary or at home. Hands touch hands. These hands you hold now once held Joyce's hands.
Here we are. Here we are.
Hand by hand, we touch those who are here with us and those who are no longer with us. And hand over hand, we touch all of humanity. Let our hands touching hands remind us, Joyce is no longer with us, but she is in us. She touched us. She's in our memories. She's in our stories. She is in the way that we move through the world. Let us go into the world and joyfully carry Joyce with us in our hearts. Amen.
Amen.